update the brand mu President John Dramani Mahama was score a year geopolitical scores with a year putting in front of the United Nations reparation motions say the Western world ombeba na omo ababe just to reparate Africans and the people of African descent. Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa has received some kind of a backlash from some Americans because omu echiremu enema ekoso no enka as we speak now no de nanka ehun enhia the Americans blast Okudzeto Ablakwa with some of her utterances will make it right after the win for President John Dramani Mahama and then Ghana. We did it for Africa and all people of African descent. And you know, and then some more the two try didn't kind of update amamudada. Now you become into what exactly are they saying about Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, especially the Black American Society in America? What are they saying against Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa? The kind of expectations, what they expect Americans, UK, any the Western world, France, any Germany, Spain, any Portugal, Brazil, some of these countries, no, as we speak now. And any and someone after say President Mahama winning or UN no Black Americans are they are any people of African descent are so the reparations no Africa baby any Black Americans. It's not about what we're too free Ghana ha and I say you are still an African, but then the Black Americans they are people of African descent that President John Dramani Mahama was fighting for. These people are turning back against President John Dramani Mahama and Niema Edi Abwa na yebekoni akwa hear this particular video. What exactly are they saying? We are near baby Edi Amamo. Yankoni Mrasisi.
Ghana wishes to draw attention to the very consequential resolution which President John Dramani Mahama of Ghana will be tabling on the 25th of March, which is just next week Wednesday, a few days from now. This is a resolution seeking to declare the transatlantic slave trade as the gravest crime against humanity. For more than 300 years, Africans were treated as property, were tortured, humiliated, raped, and forced out of the continent, over 12.5 million of them, in the most dehumanizing and despicable circumstances. The world is yet to acknowledge this. Perpetrators are yet to apologize and have not compensated the victims. This is the time to demand reparatory justice, and this is the time to demand restitution.
You know, I find it interesting that the reparations discussion is being had within the African Union right around the time that Black Americans started bringing it up and started actually really talking about taking action to pursue reparations, right? So it's very interesting. It's a very interesting coincidence that at this very time, the African Union, the Ghanaian, whoever he is trying to take this conversation of reparations for chattel slavery to the UN. You know, and the thing is, like, how are you gonna take a reparations conversation to the UN when y'all were an active participant in the slave trade? It was a whole business operation that they're still doing in certain parts of Africa till this day. They still selling people as slaves. So you were an active participant in this atrocity that happened for 300 years. You were shaking hands and doing deals with the devil, with the colonizer. Now, all of a sudden, you want to ask for reparations for it and for your country. Your country wasn't even established as a country at the time that the transatlantic slave trade was going on, honey. So, you know, it's just another way to me, I think, to kind of cut in and undermine and get into something that is supposed to be for us over here with Black Americans. I just can't help but to see it that way. My thing is, if they're going to ask for reparations for Ghana or any part of West Africa, if they're going to ask for reparations, it should be based off of the effects of colonialism that it had on their nations, not about nothing that happened that is going on over here with us, because the transatlantic slave trade negatively impacted the people who were sold. So, which means the people in the Americas. That's the people who, and reparations is not just about the slave trade. It's also about everything that happened after that, like with during the Reconstruction era, all of the terrorism that we faced, all of the things that were done to hold us back as a people, the destruction, the bombings of our cities. It's all of that is all encompassing of why we're why we would have this discussion about reparations in America. So just the fact that they're trying to bring this up right around the time that we're bringing it up, I find very interesting. And then they're doing some kind of burial ground ritual. I think they're supposed to fly over here, and the Ghanaian, whoever the guy is, the Ghanaian guy, and he's supposed to fly over to like New York City or something like that and do some kind of burial ground ritual or something over the ancestors, something like that. And it's like, why you can't even prove that the people that are there were even came from your region. So that's how I know that this whole thing is just supposed to be intrusive on something that's supposed to be for us. They just trying to undermine and take away anything that's supposed to be for us, and it don't even have nothing to do with them. It's like none of their business. It's so many people who have nothing to do with the reparations talk that have so much to say about it, have so much input, and want to dip their hands into it. Why don't you figure out how to get your own shit? That's the question that I got that nobody seems to have an answer to.
Ghana wishes to draw attention to the very consequential resolution which President John Dramani Mahama of Ghana will be tabling on the 25th of March, which is just next week, Wednesday, a few days from now. This is a resolution seeking to declare the transatlantic slave trade as the gravest crime against humanity. For more than 300 years, Africans were treated as property, were tortured, humiliated, raped, and forced out of the continent, over 12.5 million of them, in the most dehumanizing and despicable circumstances. The world is yet to acknowledge this. Perpetrators are yet.
Something that is supposed to be for Black Americans, Peno, as a Ghana, a Persia, near the Nina Bre, I'm kind of say a baby man for, and see Omodio Omunesa, and ye, Ewo, and see a bit more Astate, to be the Amane, a year, someone who could to a Blackwa. On it, President John Dramani Mahama with a more reparation motions are or more adequate to United Nations or more anymore a honum. Na enuemu and Black Americans almost all Latin America channel do so they are happy with the steps that President John Dramani Mahama is taking. And your munina and airbonechi ebumuso airborne abasu chiremua to be able to stand a year and reckon with a year Krobi to say UK, US. Now until who said your moyen a bone and some fatano, not just a president no or ye extraordinary or demufua ewo ebibimamuha. Yanko some other Black Americans also able President John Dramani Mahama Niemra Sisi.
Okay guys, today I wanted to tell you that Ghana's president or yesterday was on television. And he was on TV criticizing the United States and the West role in the Middle Passage or the Atlantic slave trade. Now, I want you to understand, he was right. He criticized the United States and rightfully so. Now, I want the people of Ghana to be proud of this moment because your president stands up. Many presidents and leaders of foreign countries don't stand up. They just simply take the check from the United States and smile, knowing that there are a lot of things that need to be addressed. So I want everybody in Ghana and West Africa to just be proud of Ghana's president for standing up, not trying to take checks and monies and Range Rovers and cars, and saying, look, we need to address this issue because Ghana lost, in my opinion, trillions of dollars in the Atlantic slave trade and a lot of talent. So he's addressing it and he's taking a leadership role. And I think that people should really take him seriously when he says certain things. Now, I'm not a fan. I don't get into politics, but when I see something that's right, it's right. When I see something that's wrong, it's wrong. And his criticism is correct. All right.
Yes, and see, also if something is wrong, it is wrong. We have to regard it as such. Now, if something is right, too, it is right. And see, the kind of criticisms Emma President John Dramani Mahama ne Ghana for any yes Samuel Okudzeto Blakwa, the Foreign Affairs Minister, because no asem no koba pe ono na beba be breaking news no obema breaking news no so na black Americans no so mo aso asi ni so na omo ebonachi ewo honom na Ghana yeni abri obi bebisa say yen nkofo sen ene cause slave trade nim yebema mo breakdown. If you are with us, stick and stay near mo breakdown no countries are omo ehun nipa and I say omo nipa ekonkwaso mu dodo no yebebobo e de amount na onim say mostly President John Dramani Mahama Okasa wants Obebo Angola, Obebo Nigeria, no Obo Ghana. Because these are the three top countries omo ehunipa na say omo enipa ekodi nkwasum ni mu kese pa enti oboba ote so Obebo Emeka no obo Kofi Mensa no obo Angola ni bi din so ewo honom no hu say yes nkrom yensan de ye ho ekoka mu. Now this is the breakdown on our screens. Transatlantic slave trade nankasa no eno ene wo screens ne so ntia transatlantic slave trade omo ade omo fa Indian Ocean ena trans-Saharan so omo ade omo fa men kan say ade omo fa desert so ekoye no ye de bi mo fa nso so omo ade omo fa the Indian Ocean the Atlantic sea ewo honom omo so ade omo fa Indian Ocean ena omo so ade omo fa the Sahara desert so no omo so ade omo fa Red Sea no eso no so ni nyina breakdown ene wo ha nti wohwe mo Angola, Nigeria and Ghana and the first three enti wohwe mo Angola ni omo nipa omo ayede omo fa transatlantic ne so no omo na omo ye 607,402 enti omo hu nipa nko 3.6 million and ayede omo koy Nigeria 2 million and yedi omokoye Ghana na yehunipa 1.6 million and yedi omokoye. So all these figures now kikamboma ebeko akodu 13 million Africans and yedi omo ekopie muti Ghana yehunipa no omo nyina went through the transatlantic yedi omo enyina efa nsoso na ekoye yedi omo nyina efa nsoso na yedi omo ekoye enti Angola any other countries no it is Nigeria say omo yedi omo fa desert so 555,796 almost yedi omo fa Red Sea ne so 59,337 and almost a transatlantic yedi omo fa nsuo ne so no so 1.4 110,970 that's 1.4 million and almost yedi omo fa the Atlantic Ocean ne so Ghana de medin kaka say yedi ni nyina we on sea ye nkofo ni nyina yedi omo fa yeposo and ekoye kro which is Ethiopia almost 813,899 almost so yedi omo fa desert so 633,000 so they went through the Red Sea. Mali so ka ho ewo ho no almost so transatlantic and a trans-Saharan almost so ewo ho Sudan almost so Red Sea 454,000 408,000 on the trans-Saharan uchiremu a omo ade omo fa nsuo so kro omo enyanfo na why do fa desert so this is the breakdown that we have. Democratic Republic of Congo, Mozambique, Tanzania, Chad, Senegal, Togo, Guinea, Madagascar, Malawi, Ivory Coast, Ewomubi, almost so 52,602. Omo enyina edi omo fa nsoso ena edi omo koye Zambia, Gabon, Niger, Kenya, Madagascar. Omo nyina ewo ho no mu bi. So this is the breakdown. Ti Ghana ye ni abri nyina ye hunipa 1.6 million. As at that time no, na Ghana ha yeswa. Now, many sure say you drew maybe a 4 million cry. I'm not sure we were up to 4 million of our population as at that time. But you move 1.6 million, almost half of the population, and you move free Ghana has say Eddie Omokoy. And Ghana, yesafata say ye may nibre na ye je empatabia. I was say the pata ye abibi my honum. And this is the estimated slave exports from 1400 to 1900 no by country a baby mamu aha I say